Post-factualist parallel universe pseudoscience committee 23. Reply to Alejandro Jenkins of Florida State University, also Gillard Perez of the Weizmann Institute of Science Israel, on their groundbreaking article in Science America 2010, The Next Anthropic Cop-Out. Lao Tzu would be spinning in his parallel universe. The facts are there are an infinite amount of facts to choose from, and in choosing the proper subset of facts, it becomes apparent that the facts found offer culpable proof that the here that we experience is perfect for existence because we are here to experience this. Here, here. The other heres which are not here and cannot be experienced most likely cannot support this type of life here. Therefore, it is only reasonable to propagate the near irrefutable axiom that this here is in fact a rare here, and that each and everything in this here are in fact only here because we are here. And if we weren't here, it would be obvious to all and sundry that we weren't here and perhaps never were. You ready? A marriage made in Second Life. They met in Second Life and began to discuss the life they led outside Second Life. She asked if he had a wife in real life. He said no, he did not. He did not ask her if she had a lover in real life, but if she would join him for dinner one night in a real restaurant in the real world that they spoke of in Second Life for many nights. And finally, when they met in real life in a real restaurant, they got on real well, but only ever talking about what they were doing in Second Life, how well they were in that world, and that they would meet regularly after that, mostly in Second Life, where they would only ever talk about what they were doing in their real life. Often which they would meet once in a while and discuss further how the characters they had created in Second Life were getting on. And finally the day came, and he asked her to marry him in Second Life, but that it should be a marriage agreed upon only in real life. So they met at the same restaurant they first met at to discuss it in real life, and when they did, they decided they would do it and have the marriage they always dreamed of on a secluded desert island they paid for by credit card in Second Life. Whilst in the real world they continued to meet, and they would discuss their marital difficulties in Second Life, understanding that it was their problems inhabiting the life they were in presently rather than the one that they were talking about that was somewhere else altogether. Things just didn't seem to be working out for them, so decided that they should perhaps break off their relationship and never meet each other in the real world again, and divorced in Second Life, getting a restraining order online, costing only a slight amount on the credit card that they split between them, and moved on to greener pastures with more pixels, better sound, and amazingly high definition graphics. Um, the war on drugs. Why can't we just get high the nice way? Dipping your fag in liquid PCP and smoking it is euphemistically called getting wet. Dipping a cannabis cigarette, however, in the same pond is known as a toe tag. Liquid PCP, oft-times called embalming fluid, shouldn't be confused, as often is by the confused, as formaldehyde, which people actually use to get high and to preserve dead flesh and tissue. Although, don't overdo the PCP, because it is said when overdone to cause months of ongoing psychosis and tendencies to kill acquaintances. Imitating the modus operandi of fictional characters such as Thomas Harris, Hannibal Lecter, or real-life flesh eaters like Ted Bundy in the consuming of body parts, such as in the case of rapper Big Lurch, whose biggest album, All Bad, according to Amazon sales rank, was 356,999 in music, who ate his female acquaintances' body parts whilst getting wet. Post-factualist science report point 23, subsection 5. A deluge of Moby Dicks and forlaps as far as the laser can measure. From hell's heart we spit data at the can. Star Trek 2. According to the fourth paradigm, a book about data-intensive scientific discovery and our inability to process our fetish for information gathered by such wondrous whirligigs as the precious and oh so delicate uber processional within reason Swiss conducting possible black hole creating reality as we know it, destroying fab traption commonly known in the quantum running around in circles hadron mash opatron and laser interferometer unseen and unobservable gravitational wave observatory, not to leave out the Aussie Ocker square kilometre array radio telescopes measured in Australian sports metrics equal to 571 forlaps squared, given that forlap was 17.1 hands high, translating to 1.7526 metres divided into 1 kilometre. A distance in 1930, forlap could have covered, using maths as precise as we care to be presently, 2 miles equaling 3.21868 kilometres, 3 minutes 26 seconds, 26/60 equals 0.45. 3 minutes 26 sec equals 3 point blah 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 0 point blah 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 seconds per kilometre without hardly breaking a sweat because of its huge heart, in accordance to the History Museum of Aussie Folklore, Melbourne, where a stuffed forlap stands 17.1 hands erect for all to admire. Its heart, however, forever remains in Sydney, as alluded to by Dr. Jim Gray, database software pioneer. In the fourth paradigm, the stupendous quantities of data generated by these ever more convoluted electronic abacuses of the abstract, creating from thin air petabyte on top of petabyte ad infinitum of ones and zeros, or unimaginable amounts of potential information. Given that in a review of Gray's book in the New York Times, John Markoff explains a petabyte of data, roughly equivalent to 799 million copies of the novel Moby Dick. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Are We There Yet? Are we there yet? Is it there yet? Is it there yet? Are we dead yet? Are we dead yet? Are we there yet? And so on and so forth. Necrotizing the Isis would be a good name for a band, wouldn't it, he said. Rain Man flew over the Goodwill hunting cuckoo nest. Hit me. It's not your fault. 164 matches. The Shining Rain Man flew over the Goodwill hunting cuckoo nest. Rain Man flew over the Goodwill hunting cuckoo nest. Port Ducks. Hit me. It's not your fault. 164 matches. Red Rum. Red Rum. Red Rum. The Blade Shining Rain Man runner flew over the Goodwill hunting cuckoo nest. The redux of Rain Man flew over the Goodwill hunting cuckoo nest. Port Ducks. Hit me. It's not your fault. 164 matches. Red Rum. Red Rum. Red Rum. All these memories will be washed away like tears in the rain.
All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in rain.